FOMO's way worse than what you think it is. The fear of missing out, or FOMO, it's this kind of funny an acronym that we all can relate to, that we share in texts and social media posts, but it actually reveals a deep set of 3 distortion patterns that really can keep us in a state of wounding. The good news is that you can get to a resonance where FOMO starts to shift into a critically important kind of discernment that can lead you into all kinds of magic, not to mention momentum. My name is Karen Cheong, and in this episode of Mastering Your World Through Frequencies, we talk about the root of FOMO and the unexpected way to shift out of it.
FOMO is such an interesting topic for mastering your world through frequencies for me, because it's kind of more social and colloquial.
Yeah.
Somehow for me it doesn't relate to frequency work.
Yeah.
But yet, when I think about it, fear of missing out, it sounds like there's something underlying.
Yeah.
Which clearly impacts our frequency resonance.
Totally.
So go.
Yeah, so fear of missing out, as you said, sounds like a really sort of light, almost like funny thing, that we say to each other in our DMs or that we say to each other like over text or whatever. But it's actually this very deep set of patterns that work together to create this phenomenon that we call the fear of missing out. Mm-hmm. So the 3 things from my perspective are scarcity, like we don't have enough, like we're somehow like missing or lacking in some way. So we need something else to be full. Mm-hmm. There is the not being worthy of something, whether it's love or acceptance or whatever it is. And then it's the fear itself, right? Of like, oh my God, like if I don't have that, whatever it is that I'm supposed to be experiencing because I really want it in some way, it's going to make me better in some way, then I'm never going to be loved.
Yeah.
Right? I'll never be accepted. So those 3 patterns together create this really horrible dynamic from which can be really difficult to get out.
Yeah, I mean, they base advertising campaigns on that, right?
Yeah.
If you do this and buy this, then you'll never reach this.
Yes, exactly. It's like if you don't lose those 10 pounds, then no one will love you, or if you don't have a full head of hair, men, then you'll never catch a woman, right? Or whatever the thing is. Yeah.
And because if you don't have the woman, you're lacking.
Yes, exactly.
Somehow.
Yes, exactly.
It's really clever, actually.
Yes.
So let's talk about it, how it relates to frequency work, because as we're talking about it, I can see how there's a lot, or let's just say there's a group of people that do a lot of spiritual work, because if they don't, they'll never have that connection with this higher source, pure source, God, whatever name you want to give it. So they're constantly chasing something else because they've got this FOMO thing happening. Yeah. They see somebody that's maybe loved and admired and respected because they have this aura of spiritual awakening. Yeah. So now they think they've got to go do it all. Oh my God, I've got to go do it because I'll never be that.
Yeah. Or they'll chase having healing abilities or special abilities because for the same reason, right? Like if, for example, they have it, it means that they're enough now. Yes. It's the same thing. So it shows up in all kinds of ways, like even in spiritual communities. And I think it's really important to address because fundamentally there's that pattern of I am not enough. Yeah. And therefore, I need to chase something else outside of me in order to be enough. And I want to really distinguish this because what can happen when your frequency resonance rises, it starts to change, right? You start to learn to discern between the, oh my God, if I don't have this, I'm screwed and I'm never going to awaken, versus I'm being called to something. Yes. I'm being called to this because I feel for some reason that it doesn't even really logically make sense to me. That it's like this inspirational thing. Like it's a fulfillment of a higher purpose, a higher order, but it's not fear. Yeah. Right? That is a very different resonance.
Yes. I think it's good to actually put the nitty-gritty on that, as we'd say in Scotland. Put the nitty-gritty on it because oftentimes it's easy as a human to watch somebody go on let's just say, a retreat to India and sit in these beautiful meditations with some guru and they come back really glowing and somehow this person that stayed at home is like, oh, maybe I should have done that. Yeah. Not realizing, Archie, you can do the exact same thing sitting in your living room. Yes. Just make the time and do the work. Yes. I think that's what you're saying, right?
Yes, exactly. So all of that external trapping is not very important for spiritual awakening. All it has to happen is that you have to be aware of your distortions, release them, and have your frequency resonance rise.
Yeah.
When your frequency resonance rises enough, you start to experience that awakening process, which is really the beginning of an infinite process of awakening.
Yes.
Which for some of you will sound like, duh, I thought I was just going to be done. And for some of you, you're going to be like, okay, it's this like amazing potential for more magnificence to unfold.
Yeah.
More awareness, more intuitiveness, a greater understanding of the mystery, all that stuff that happens. So the thing is, I think it's really important to discern the difference between that fear that you're never really going to quite get there. Everyone else is going to have that experience in India or wherever it is, and they're going to have the awakening and you're not.
Yeah.
So you go to India hoping to have that same thing versus there's something in me that knows I have to go to India. I don't know why I know I need to go, but I know I need to go there, and I know I need to go here to this particular school or whatever. And I'm not ascribing, by the way, I'm not saying you have to go to India, right?
No.
It's just an example. But it doesn't matter what the calling is, for whatever it is. You just have this knowingness that's not fear-based, that is propelling you towards something greater, even if you have resistance that shows up, right? You might actually have all these reasons why now all of a sudden you've signed up to go to the thing, but now you're like, I don't really like curry.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of all the mosquitoes. I've heard that there's a lot of people and I can't handle crowds or whatever it is. That might be your internal resistance that comes up and you're like, I don't want to go there, right? Even though you've signed up to go.
Yeah.
So sometimes that will show up as your ego mind trying to like stay within a certain way of being. And that can keep you from going. So why I'm talking about all this is to distinguish how when your frequency resonance rises, instead of having FOMO, you start to be able to feel the calling.
Yeah, I've had a couple of instances myself where I got pulled into that FOMO, like, it's like a panic.
Yeah.
And then there's the instance where I'm going to go somewhere, and it's got nothing to do with awakening. I know it's not, because I know I can do it in my bedroom, on the toilet, wherever. If I'm prepared to do the inner work, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's inherent in every single human being on the planet, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to India because, or let's just say Africa.
Yeah.
Let's change the topic in case everybody thinks it's India.
Yeah.
I'm going to Africa because there's something deep in me is resonating with something that's happening in Africa. I have no idea what.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, I don't want to really go to Africa. But somehow there's this pull.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go. And somehow I know it's the right step for me.
Yes.
So the two different levels of frequency, I think.
Yes, very different levels.
Like you said right at the beginning, the first one where, I've got to do it. It's like fear.
Yeah.
Where the next one's like, okay, I'm getting the call.
Yes.
I know this is the right step.
Yes.
I'm going to honor it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really fun because, one of my clients, she joined the Limitless Potential Mastermind because she's wanted to do it for since the inception of it, which has been now a few years. But she joined it because she really wanted to address FOMO patterns and she really wanted to address scarcity because she always felt like she wasn't doing enough.
Right.
It didn't matter how many qualifications she had. It didn't matter how many modalities she learned. She felt like she had to do more and more and more. So anyway, it was really cool because when she was in the Limitless Potential Mastermind, one of the things she realized was, I don't have FOMO anymore. So meaning there are things that came up that whether it was something that Spherical Luminosity offered or something else where she's like, ooh, that sounds amazing. And then she learned to sit with it. And she's like, it's okay if I don't do this.
Yeah.
It's all right if I don't do this. And before it was like such a panic for her. She was just compelled to do it. But now she's like, okay, there's a reason that I am not a full body yes for this.
Yes.
And it's okay that I'm not a full body yes. So I'm just going to wait because something else is going to come along where I am going to be a full body yes, and then I'll just follow that. But it was this really lovely moment for her that no one else would have noticed. But it's a tremendous inner shift for her because she's okay with that pause of like, it's neutral. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel that like, I have to anymore.
Yeah.
And she was just like, I kind of enjoy the pause,
Yes.
And because for her now, when that yes comes in, it's so much like clearer for her. She's like, okay, now I know I'm doing this, not because I'm going to miss out and like, I'm not enough if I don't, but really because it's like, yes, for me, yes, this is like, for some reason that I don't know yet, I know this is right for me in some way that is, I might not exactly be able to describe.
Yeah.
That will reveal itself.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And you don't know.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
For me, when you're talking and from what I've experienced, it feels like neutrality, even though it's not quite neutrality, but there is that distance and that space where I don't just automatically slip into, I need to go, I need to do this. Oh, she's doing it, I need to do it. You know,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
To like, it sounds really fun, but I don't know if this is resonating for me.
Yeah.
It's a skill that it's really nice to have.
I totally agree. So this is a skill that a lot of people don't think about when they are trying to discern what's right for them, because we get pulled so easily into that fear right away, into that FOMO, and we don't really know how to sit in that neutrality, how to be in that level of discernment. And the thing is, you can't think your way there. You can't rationalize your way there.
Yeah.
It really has to do with being aware of your distortion patterns, releasing them, and rising in your resonance. If you want to begin to release those distortion patterns that keep you stuck in FOMO, click on the link in the description below for your free group frequency calibration. That's where the change really happens.
To get us into that state more often, I guess doing the GFC as often as we can will help us.
Yeah.
More than just maybe doing it once or twice,
yes.
right?
And I think that it's funny, when FOMO happens, it can feel really bad. We can feel really hurt. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever not been invited to a party or to something that a bunch of friends are doing that you haven't been invited to. I just remember this time, I was probably like 17, and I was out shopping with my mom, and I saw a bunch of my girlfriends who were together, who I normally would have been invited with, but they were all out together, and I hadn't been invited.
Oh, no.
And I just remember that feeling. And I'm, now in my 50s. So this is like many years ago, like over 35 years ago, and I still remember it.
Yeah.
So it's something that can really cut us to the quick and be really painful. And so, there's a bunch of grief that can happen around it. There can be a bunch of wounding. So as much as this GFC will help you, it's really about releasing a lot of these low self-worth patterns.
Yeah.
And a lot of these scarcity patterns, right? Like because those two things intertwine in a really kind of nasty way.
Yeah. It's not just one and one separate, right? They kind of feed each other as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. And ultimately, we're talking about this, the whole topic of FOMO and these GFCs, because ultimately what we're talking about is that this moment in time, this pivotal moment in time where consciousness is rising, there's a lot of people starting to move into FOMO because they've got, like you say, these distortion patterns running where they think, if I don't do this, I'm not going to make it.
And make it. That's usually how it's framed.
Right?
Yeah.
So the reason why we're actually discussing it is for this reason.
Yes.
That the message is, yes, you will.
Yes.
As long as you do the work.
Yes,
right?
exactly. And your path to how you ascend is yours. So you don't have to do everything on like someone's to-do list in order to ascend. It's not like there's a list and everyone has to do like the 12 things on the list. And if you don't do them all perfectly, you're not going to make it. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with rising in your resonance.
Yes.
And so just to be aware of yourself in this time and to be aware of these patterns and to use this time to release these patterns, because there's a lot of momentum to help you to release these things which are really deeply seated. And the other thing to watch out for, I would say, is we can have FOMO not just for ourselves, but for the people we love.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh my God, they're not doing any inner work. They're screwed.
Yeah.
And they're going to not be able to make it.
Yeah.
Right? I've seen that a lot. And so people will push their kids or their partners or their parents or whomever, their friends, to be like, just kind of harangue them into waking up.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you have to remember is that you can't really do that. It's their choice.
You can, but you might never have them as a partner again.
Or a friend.
Or lots of arguments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it really has to do with their own timing.
Yeah,
also.
It's their journey. And like you say, coming right back to that point, the whole point of this discussion is to understand the difference between FOMO and, is this right for me?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, so with the family, with the friends, with the partnership, it is like it might be right for me to do, but it doesn't mean it's right for you.
Yes.
At this time.
At this time.
Right.
And the thing is, it's at their time. And I would say the other thing to just, because instead of just giving like release the distortion pattern, which I agree is totally helpful, the other thing I'd recommend is really cultivating your relationship with the one. Because when you start to cultivate your relationship with the one, or oneness or pure source or whatever you want to call that very highly resonating frequency resonance or consciousness from which we all come and to which we all return. When you clarify that, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
You know, and when you have that, you start to be able to surrender into divine timing. You start to be able to be aware of what calls you, despite what your mind says. And you are more aware of like a greater perspective rather than all society's rules of what you should do or what, you know, this guru says or this teacher says or whatever so-and-so says is required. You start to know for yourself what is useful and most beneficial for you to rise.
Yeah. And I'd just love to add, just for anybody that's listening, this relationship with the one that you're referring to isn't something that's outside of you.
Yes.
It's constantly inside of you, has always been inside of you. So when you're saying about cultivating, you're talking about really cultivating who we are internally and magnified by this life force that gives life to us, right?
Yes, exactly. Because really that's the most important thing. It's always, you wouldn't be alive without it.
Yeah.
Right? It is what animates you. It's what gives you life. Yeah. And so, as you said, you know, so many traditions negate the human, right? And like only outside of us does the divine, the grand, the magnificent, the majesty happen. Yeah. And that's not true. It's through you, you know? And so it's an important distinction between the old paradigm spirituality and new paradigm spirituality, I would say, that's really critical. Because, again, this has to do with really clarifying your ability to connect to what I call your big S self. You as infinite indestructible consciousness that has always existed, will always exist. And your connection to pure source, which has always existed and will always exist. It's infinite. And it's always there for us. We just have forgotten.
Yeah. And if you think about it too, like as we're talking, if we have cultivated that relationship and we do actually feel it internally, you never have FOMO.
Exactly.
Right?
It's impossible.
It's an idea that you'll never have it. Of course, we're human.
Yes.
We're always going to have these moments.
Yeah.
But knowing that it's there and knowing that you can come back to that, you can kind of laugh at your FOMO-ness.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And the thing is, I also just want to clarify, sometimes what can happen is you'll feel the calling of what it is. And I'm not saying you will have never a moment or a whiff of FOMO in your life again. It might be that you're like, oh, I don't want to miss out. But more than that, I actually know that I feel called. Yeah. Right? So I just want to put that out there because the way we're talking about it is as if it's two extremes and you're never, ever going to feel FOMO again. It's not that. You're going to have it, but you'll understand that, oh, wait, I'm a little bit afraid of missing out here. Yeah. Right? So I understand what's motivating me. And I also feel the calling. So you can kind of reconcile both those things without being like sucked into the fear alone. Yes. I think that's what we're trying to distinguish.
It's not driven by little S self. It's actually driven by big S self.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. If you'd like to learn how to cultivate more of your relationship with the one and your big S self, then check out my next video. I'll see you inside.